Which is what we really should have built instead of a wall was a funnel.
No, a maze that leads back to Mexico. I want to build a maze. It's going to be the biggest, most beautiful, best maze. These Mexicans, believe me, they're going to walk in. They're going to get 5 miles in. They're going to be walking right back into Mexico saying, my God, how did I fall for this again?
You hear that?
So
that'd be nice.
Little that's a Trump train. Trump train.
that's the Trump.
That's what that is. Freedom. That's what that is. Freedom. Freedom.
Are you back on this train? Apparently,
I'm not on the train. The train
just
is
hear
on
it.
us. The train is on us. We can all hear the train because it's coming. I've been telling them for a while. Trump's coming back. He's going to be the next president of the United States.
God, I hope not.
I mean, I hope not too, but it's happening. I'm not hoping. I'm not sitting here making wishes. I'm telling you what's coming.
I understand now. This previous conversation about free access to guns is what you're going for here. This is the comment you're making?
Like what? Like he's going to help me out with that? I misunderstood maybe.
No, I'm just saying that you're saying it's going to be bad times. This is a good time to own a gun.
Oh no, I don't think the bad times are going to be determined by who's the president anyway. Not in this country anyway. Not our president. Our presidents are always going to do the same shit.
Yeah.
There's a policy in place, and it's not going to change as far as like the bigger pieces on the plane.
They all do the same shit, but one wishes he could do this, and one wishes he could do that.
Exactly.
But they actually do.
They kind of grind against the edges a little bit, and they'll get a little shit done. You know, like stuff happens, but it's few and far in between. I don't think that matters, but I just think the general like culture is going to get changed a little bit because, you know, Trump was out there leading the right. In a lot of ways on social media, like he was a social media leader in many ways. Like it emboldened them to be ridiculous online. And now for the last few years, it's kind of gone the other way. And I think it's coming back again. I think it's going to be wild the next few years. And I think it's going if he runs, I really hope he runs because I think he will win. And I want to see the campaign. I want to see that campaign again. I want to see how he stacks up against DeSantis. I want to see how nasty the left gets if they do end up facing off with Trump, because it will be no holds barred this time.
Here's what I think is going to happen. Trump will either run again or start to run again. And I will admit that Trump is very charismatic. A lot of people love him. In spite of obvious lies, they believe everything he says, anything he says. So let's agree that he has charisma, but it doesn't work on me. I don't see it. I just see a dick. I see an asshole, a liar. Every time he talks, I get more frustrated. His charisma doesn't work on me. I think guys like that are going to be a lot more common. I think the next time he runs, he's going to be surprised to learn that he doesn't have as many followers as
you think we're going to get kind of a nationwide immunity to this bullshit?
Nope.
Immunity is strong, but
resistant,
big enough that it doesn't fly like it used to.
We're going for what's the pandemic term for the oh my God, I'm blanking on it. The herd immunity. You think we're going to get herd immunity to bullshit?
Yes, we'll get herd immunity to not bullshit in politics, but to Trump himself. But Trump's overt lies, obvious lies. His he doesn't have much to say, and some of the things he says are silly.
He does though.
I'm going to build the wall, he'll say. He says, whatever. Mexico's not sending their best, drain the swamp. That shit won't fly anymore. They're going to...
I could win Donald Trump in Trump's campaign for him if he would let me run the thing.
I believe you, actually.
All right, so first and foremost, forget about the quote-unquote stolen election. That ain't buying... Nobody's buying that shit, okay?
Yeah.
And the people who do... You already had them. You could have told them you were fucking...
They're in the bag, baby.
You could be the king of Neptune and they vote for you. They don't give a fucking shit. They're Trumpers, okay? So stop with the stolen election shit.
Say you're going to rename a planet after Jesus.
You don't have to have a big new plan. Shut up about the wall too, unless you can like really pump up some... See, what it's going to be won by is by commercials, and he can buy the most commercials. The guy with the most commercials is going to win. His are going to be so effective. He can make a montage.
He definitely can't buy the most commercials.
Yes, he can. He has the most money.
He doesn't. Mark Zuckerberg outspent him in Georgia.
Mark Zuckerberg is not a political party.
Yeah, he did. He bought $300 million of Democrat anti-Trump ads in Georgia and like really pushed for it there.
I don't know who that is. Mark
Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook.
The Facebook guy.
I don't understand how he bought ads.
Because he's a billionaire. And so he said, I would like to
He's
buy
got
ads,
money and
please.
he
And
gave
they
it-
said, well, I'm not sure if we want your
Capitalism?
money. And he said, really, it spends. And he goes, okay, okay.
Well,
Like,
well, if he can make Mark Zuckerberg
Works
spend
everywhere.
$300 million more, then that'll be interesting. But what I think is that Donald Trump has like 150 million at last check of money to spend on this thing, and he hasn't even really started.
that's
money or
like
campaigning
something
yet?
that like is not making sense to me. Is like I hear all this stuff like, oh, Trump's war coffers are so big. Trump doesn't have the money that a Bezos or a Zuckerberg does. Zuckerberg can decide over afternoon coffee to outspend Trump 3-1, and it will not affect his bottom line. He doesn't care. He can do that shit easily. If he thinks that doing that in Georgia is going to give him enough preferential pushback from the legislature there for whatever he's working on that it's worthwhile for him, like
I don't
he'll
really
just
even
keep
think
doing that. Billionaires always do that shit. The Koch brothers did it.
I've never
Zuckerberg spent 45 million in Georgia. That's crazy.
Sheldon Adelson, how much did he fucking spend? He was the biggest Republican donor for years and years. And then
I'm sure there's
is he
rich
dead?
people on
I
both.
hope.
I'm sure there's rich people on both sides, but what I'm getting at is Donald Trump's commercials will be substantive because he hasn't been doing anything horrible or ruining the country for the last 4 years, but the other guy and the other team has. He's got montages of death, destruction, inflation, bodies in the streets, and buildings on fire.
The inflation is going
we're
to
on
be the
the
biggest
verge-
thing.
World War III gasoline is $4.15 a gallon. That's what
Stock
you hammer
market
home
right now.
That's what you
Yeah.
hammer home. Like you go from fucking Wall Street to Main Street and show death, destruction, fire, and blood. And that is the Biden legacy. That's the last 4 years. And were the last four as good as the four before that? That's all he has to do. And if he wants to deal with the border, then it should be about how Biden has failed at the border, not about building it. Shut up about the wall. Maybe mention how Biden tore down the wall. I'm sure he can fudge the numbers to make it look like the places with the wall had less crime than the places without the wall, which
Mhm.
would make sense because the wall would funnel them into those places, which is what we really should have built instead of a wall was a funnel.
No, a maze that leads back to Mexico. I want to build a maze. It's going to be the biggest, most beautiful, best maze. These Mexicans, believe me, they're going to walk in. They're going to get 5 miles in. They're going to be walking right back into Mexico saying, my God, how did I fall for this again?
It's the Minotaur, right? At the heart of the
And so they
labyrinth.
walk into the Trump labyrinth, right? And and at the end, you're not going to believe this. The CIA invented a Minotaur. A real one.
See, Donald Trump, maybe that's his thing. Maybe he
But-
comes in, he's like, we're going to build Ukraine and Russia's going to pay for it.
I mean,
we
that
just won,
would
Donald.
be
We
that
just
would
won,
be
Donald.
that would be very funny. I would like that if he did.
Oh,
that.
but come on, everyone would be like, "You lied the first time."
No. What if you no? I got even better. We're going to rebuild Ukraine and Mexico's going to pay for it.
Now I'm on board.
and I would like it if he actually made Mexico pay for it, though.
You couldn't get Mexico to pay for the wall.
So we need to invade Mexico. As soon as they refuse to pay for that wall, we need to explain to them that current boundaries did not allow for an effective and safe barrier between our two countries. And so we have to invade on the basis that
We need a smaller
American
choke point
lives
or a
are
more
in
efficient
danger.
wall.
Because they won't control the immigration issue. We have to do it for the betterment of our citizens to keep them safe. And there's no way to do it correctly with the current borders. So we would have to invade and we'd have to take some territory. And that is where the wall would be placed. And it wouldn't be just a wall against illegal Mexicans. It would be a wall against all Mexicans.
You know
That'd be
what?
more fair.
I'm over the whole.
And they
wall
would
thing.
pay for it if they wanted to use it. If they wanted to come over here. Okay.
I would like a moat.
At all. Oh, there would be a moat.
A moat with crocodiles, all sorts, just syringes.
You know Donald Trump asked for
You
that,
know?
right? Like all jokes aside, you know Donald Trump asked about that, right?
That's
all jokes-
hilarious.
He
He
wanted
asked about
alligators in the.
Zach, fact check me because like that's either a fever dream I had or
No, I
that's
remember
a
something about
fucking
that
fact.
too.
Like I
The thing
think he
is,
wanted a
like
moat
so
in
many of these
crotch.
Trump things, I'm like, well, like,
I think it's sourced well, though. I think
how
it's sourced
stupid, though.
well.
Well, Woody, what you have to remember is that any sort of barrier to entry is going to ultimately decrease the number of people
true.
who do this.
I'll tell you
Whether
what.
it's a moat
Cost
or
of
just
putting
a
the cost of
Imagine
putting that
if there
barrier
was
to
a-
entry in might be too high in the case of crocodiles, but it would reduce the
Now
size
we've
of
got an
the
idea to stop the illegals. We're calling it the Hornet Mile. It is a mile of southern Texas where we've destroyed everything. Nothing but hornets, nothing but wasps. Good luck,
Murder hornets.
Mexicans.
Finally, they make their plot return.
Yeah. Well, it turns out they killed all the bees. No one could have seen that coming. I'm so sorry.
We've allowed the killer bees into the country specifically for this moment. They're going to be relocated to the border wall.
Africa is
and then
not
it's
sending
barbed wire
their
and
best
killer
bees. Africa is sending killer bees. They're sending.
That'd
be so funny.
That,
They're like, Trump racistly calls African bees killer bees, and it's like, well, but they are killer bees. I remember the graphic.
Oh.
What would happen if you tried to put alligators in the Rio Grande?
They probably
would they
they
die?
probably ruin the ecosystem somehow.
Yeah, right, somehow, but you don't know for sure until you try.
Yeah.
What about some kind of aquatic wolf?
Ooh, a sea wolf or a sea bear,
wolf.
perhaps.
Perhaps some sort of a hybrid between a wolf and an alligator.
How about a series of enormous Venus flytraps?
Ooh, I like
what
that.
a lion! Right?
I like
think about
that. Those lazy immigrants will be taking a nap. You crawl in, you
being
wake up.
digested.
Yeah.
by
I
the
was thinking the
juices.
Rio Grande. If you were to inhabit it with lions and sea lions, the lions would be a way bigger problem.
They would be.
I guess. I don't know.
Sea lions are they even aggressive?
Yeah, I think I saw. Is that a sea lion that bit that little girl in the ass and pulled her into the water? That famous little Reddit gif. That's always funny. You're like, I think they get really big. No, I would like it if our southern border was protected by all sorts of ferocious things. I would like some sort of a big mirror that's like a magnifying glass in the sky that could like beam down and burn like invaders.
Yeah, I'd like some sort of Eye of Sauron, some sort of Colossus of Rhodes that's animated and comes to life.
I want it to aesthetically appear though to just be an enormous magnifying glass, an old timey one.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
and
it adds a little bit of class to the horror.
But I really just, I'm passionate about our borders, and not just the southern border, the northern border too. I think we should shoot any of those fuckers that try to cross either border.
I'm passionate about our eastern border. The UK is coming again, and I will not have it. People think they're done. They're going to reconquer us. They're going to try.